How is everyone doing tonight? It's Saturday night. Feel all right? Let's print some stuff. So, tonight we got a pretty interesting stream. We got this little nifty guy. This was graciously provided to me by somebody. I didn't pay for this. Bondtech didn't send it over. Somebody sent it to me to have some fun with. And by golly, we're going to have some fun with it. We're going to print something. But before we get into that, for those that follow the stream weekly, you know last week, one of my stated goals was I'm going to print more. For those that don't know, I really don't actually print that much in terms of things, okay? So when I want to print my things, I now go to Thangs. And thanks to Thangs, they're sponsoring the stream tonight. They're allowing me to do the things I do and create the content I create. And part of my little goal is I'm going to try and print something new every week. And for last week, we print the Godzilla, or correction, the King Kong model. This week is Godzilla. So if you want to print your own Godzilla model, head on over to thangs.com, create an account, find a link below to print it, and get your own King of the Monsters. There's like a movie or something going on with these two. Tie-in. I don't know. Go to Thangs. Download some Thangs. Print some Thangs. So, tonight, we are going to be playing, if I can get the right camera, with the Bondtech LGX. Now, this was, as I said, this stream is not sponsored by Bondtech. This was graciously provided by somebody. And, unfortunately, I think they're going to want it back after this. But, if I can ever remember, this is Bondtech's new, I don't know, what is it called when it's not a hot end and it's not an extruder? Because that's the new thing now. You got the BQ H2, this thing. You got the Hemera. Hemera was like the first big one. And now LGX has it, where all they really are is just an extruder and a hot end in one. This one, not quite. They're really not. They're just really short filament paths. I don't know what the proper term for these are. Are they extruders? Are they hot end? Are they hot truders? I don't know. But yes, this is their new compact, directly feeds into a hot end thing. Okay, so I haven't done any printing with this yet. All I've done is I put it in with a test mount. Yesterday I took some pictures. I made sure it actually pushed plastic. So we didn't have a repeat of this debacle. And it does push plastic. So pulled it out. I've got some new parts here. Updated parts because there were some issues with those. And I'm going to install this in the Afterburner. Now, this is where things get a little bit weird, okay? For those that don't know, the Afterburner is the tool head on the Voron platform. So on the Switchwire, the V1, the Legacy, and the V2, the Afterburner is the tool head. And if you want to run direct feed setups, you run this. This is a clockwork, okay? So this is a NEMA 17 with basically the guts of a Bondtech BMG styled gearing in here, okay? So the real funny thing is, this is the clockwork, and this is the LGX. The filament feed path and the spacing front to back on the LGX kind of pretty much happens to line up exactly like the Afterburner toolhead. If so much so that all you need are this printed part right here, and you can mount this directly into an Afterburner. You don't have to change anything on the Afterburner. All you need is the mount that actually holds this. Like, this part is unchanged, and your bare of a little bit longer PTFE tube, this is unchanged. So the LGX, in whatever coincidence, I don't know, is a straight drop-in on the Afterburner tool head. So if you want to run one of these, it literally just drops right in on the printer you have. You have to print 2 parts and a different attachment for the cable chain. That's it. I don't know if Bondtech planned that or if it just kind of happened to work out that way, but we are going to install this on our printer. And then I have a high flow dragon, Fadus dragon here. And we're going to throw the biggest nozzle I got in it, and we're going to see how much plastic this can push. So let me check on chat. I've been talking for a little bit. Oh, yes. I should have put it on the bottom of the screen here. Yes, I have seen Stefan's video on the V0. I think he did a good job. The only screw up he did in it was mention that the V0 was 100 millimeters cubed. It's 120. But yeah, he did a good job on it, and I liked the video, and I liked the shout out. So yes, I have seen that video. Yeah. Hi, David. Is it on GitHub? No. So this is still in testing. Like this is like revision 5 in like 2 days. So once we know this works fine, it'll probably get pushed out. I'm not developing it. Nemgria is. He is the guy who's also the dev on the V0. So, let's take a look here. I keep hitting the wrong button. So, this is the LGX. Now, this version here, this was sent to me. This is the version that you could put a mosquito on, I believe. So, it has this attachment point here, and I could mount a mosquito directly to this. Let me see here. Yeah, I have a mosquito. So, thanks, Elvis. So this is a standard mosquito, right? This would actually just mount right there if I really wanted to, okay? So if I wanted to, I could mount a mosquito to it right like this, okay? To my knowledge, this only supports the slice tool heads for direct mounting. However, if you go with the method we're using here, where because it just lines up perfectly, we're going to drop it right into an Afterburner. Any hot end that's compatible with the Afterburner would be compatible with this. And I know there are mods for even like the Mark 8 extruder or hot end that people run on enders for it. So you can pretty much use an Afterburner now with this and any hot end you want. You don't have to go with the proprietary setups. So to put this together, it's actually kind of dumb how simple it is. So you have this plate here, and this is like the part that you could swap out for, I guess, like the different setups. If you want to run it Bowden, you would take this plate off. Take this plate here that has a Bowden connector thingy, and you would slide that in. And then this is how you would use it for a Bowden setup. But we're not going to do that. We're going to take our screws. And this part right here is the printed part. And it just literally slots right in. Now it is printed, so you just got to make sure it's lined up perfectly. But there you go. Now, I don't know about you, but that is pretty much, that's it. So I got to put some heat set inserts in here first. You are going to need the heat sets. Can't get away from the heat sets. Jason, thank you for becoming a member. So the original part that goes there, they use, what is it, SLS, selective laser sintering plastic or whatever it is. The, is it MJF? I can't remember. Because this is a plastic part. It's the same plastic that Bondtech uses on all their other stuff. Oh, background music, sure. There we go. I'm just waiting on. Okay, that should be enough. So we do need to put 4 heat sets in here. So hopefully we have enough clearance now, because the previous revision didn't, and I cracked it. So we should be okay now, I believe. Like, it still worked, it's just like the screws were too long because I don't have 22mm screws on hand. Am I using a different mic setup? No, why? Does it sound any different? Like, I've been using the same lav mic, but I think it's like this little cheapo $20 mic might be not performing quite well. Yeah, so the LGX is a little bit heavier than the the Clockwork. It's like 30 or 40 grams heavier. However, honestly, with clipper, with input shaper, the Voron gantry is rigid enough to 40 grams. Honestly, you're not going to notice. I don't get the point of chasing grams on modern printers with modern hardware and software. Back in the days of like acrylic framed ANET A8s and really weak deltas, I think it made more sense to worry about grams. But nowadays on, you know, aluminum extrusion machines, running, you know, clipper with input shaper and all the bells and whistles that we have available to us now, I don't think 40 grams is going to really cause any noticeable difference. So. Now these are mating surfaces, so I'm just making sure there's no plastic sitting up after I melted those inserts in. Timothy, they're already on back order, really? Chasing grams in the name of a 5-minute benchy. Well, remember, on my 14-minute benchy, that's with a full-size direct feed tool head, dual MGN rails. Like, these gantries aren't light. Okay, so to put this together, we got this printed part here. I got my 4 heat set inserts installed. It literally slots right in. You use the 2 screws that comes with it. And those go in. They want to line up. I didn't clear any of these holes out, so there might have been a little bit of plastic in them. David, 1999. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. If you need anything, any, you know, printer-related components, hit up Printed Solid. If you're in good old USA, David will hook you up. Friend of the channel. Dang it. I had all the screws laid out that I would need for this, and I've already misplaced some. Printed Solid and Bondtech are out of stock. Looks like some in stock. Yeah, I foresee these not lasting too long in stock. I think LGX has a winner on their hands here. Now, granted, I haven't printed with it yet. Okay, I'm just going off of initial impressions, and my initial impressions on this thing are pretty dang good. And I'll kind of touch on that once I start actually printing with it. Because there is some design things. I'm not going to take it apart. I don't want to be chasing down screws. I think I've seen some pictures of the internals. I think it's one of those things you don't want to take apart unless you have to take apart. So you got the 2 screws in the front. 2 screws in the front. You got 2 screws in the bottom here. I didn't even grab the right length. Nope, those aren't the right length either, so it's 12 mil. Fun things about beta parts, you don't have callouts for what screw lengths you need. Nope. Could have sworn I had the screws out for them. Oh, you know what? They're these. Oh, these are the 18s, yeah. Okay, so you need 18 millimeters. M3 by 18 millimeters. For the bottom here. Or not. Oh wait, no, that is. There we go. That's 18. That's a 16. If they've been shared on the Discord, then they've been shared on the Discord. These probably won't get pushed to the GitHub until we know for sure there are no issues with the design, because there's already been numerous tweaks to it. Okay. Why use a mains heated bed? Because one, you need a smaller power supply. So even with 7 motors in this thing, it only has a 200-watt power supply. Also, it's a slab of Mike 6 or cast aluminum tooling plate. There's a lot of mass there to heat up, and a mains AC heater mat is the most efficient way to heat it up, and it's less amperage, so it's safer. Because you don't need like 14 gauge wire. You can do it with like 16 or 18. So it's safer, uses less voltage, and it's quicker and more efficient. So we have this part mounted, and then we have this little part right here. And this part is for, I'll show you here in a second. So let me get this kind of set up here so you can see what we've got going on when it comes to actually mounting this in the printer. Okay. So this is Toasty Boy, or correction, Tall Boy. Toasty Boy hasn't been built yet. So we have this part here, and this guy kind of just clips into there. Joey, thank you for becoming a member. So that goes there. And then I'm going to have to reach around a lot here. When I was doing this, it's a lot easier to do, not on trying to get everything on camera. So this little printed part goes there. And then you have your 2 heat sets. And that pretty much mounts right like that. So I am going to have to swap out this piece right here. Because we have to use a different one. And actually, I got to put more heat sets in. Yay, I forgot about that. So one of the changes is, if you take a look at the NEMA 17 that is spec for the clockwork, you can see it has these 2 little notches there. The motor on the LGX does not have those notches. So you have to use a different mount here for them. Okay, which I got to put some heat sets in. So plug my iron back in. let that heat up. Oh, what? Max is here. Hi, Max. Yeah, it is like straight up, I don't know what the heck's going on with why this lines up perfectly. I don't know if they're just kind of, it's just a fluke, if they're inspired by the Afterburner, or if they just see, hey, if we make it and fit this form factor, the Voron guys will probably all buy it. Because so far, just initial impressions of it, it is well built. So I don't, I think it'll be it's gonna have legs on it. It's gonna be a good extruder. At least initial testing, or initial impressions. I haven't got this actually hooked up yet. Matt, 1999. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Let me scroll down. Best 3DP content this side of the Mississippi. Keep it up. Thank you. What side of the Mississippi, though? Well, I guess you're always on whatever. I don't know. I'm not big on the American euphemisms and meanings of words. Well, I do have another BIQ H2 on the way. They are sending me another one for T&E. So I will have another one. I'm hoping it's better than the one I had, but apparently they fixed some things and they are sending me another one. So we shall see. We shall see. I'm on the north side of the Mississippi. That is true. I'm actually, no, wait. The Mississippi, does it go all the way up to Chicago? Is that? I'm gonna have to check this now because it's gonna bug me. Mississippi River. Mandalaro 20, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Oh, Mandela Rose works. Okay, that makes more sense on the screen. I'm like Mandalaro. Okay, come on, Google Maps. Actually, I'm not north of the Mississippi. I am not north of the Mississippi. Oh, wow, that's a big river. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is the, yeah, I know, we're going on a tangent here. The Mississippi goes all the way up to here, apparently, and I'm like down here. So I am not north of the Mississippi. Victor, €2, thank you, appreciate it. Kyle Davis, $5, thank you, appreciate it. Made a Prusa Mark III hot end into a 2.2 tool head. Feels wrong at so many levels. Feels wrong, but it's so right. Okay, so we got this little guy, and now this mounts right onto it, I believe. Yeah, we're good to go to mount this. So that's unplugged. That's not melting anything. Okay. Do you think the Orbiter or the Sherpa Mini as comparison? They are completely different. They're geared extruders, but that's like, they're different mechanicals behind them. The Orbiter is and the Sherpa are kind of the same thing, where it's basically a spur, or no, the Orbiter is planetary gear. The Sherpa is a lot like the Pocket Watch, which is, it's basically a Bondtech BMG gearing, only the drive gear is a spur gear on a NEMA 14. And then this is, I'll try and find a picture of their, the internals of this guy, because I don't want to open it up. But this is their new large geared extruder. So the BMG is the Bondtech mini geared extruder, and this is the large geared extruder. And I really think the large gears will help a lot in the dreaded VFD vertical fine artifact, like what's it called? Prusa 606. That kind of issue that you see on 3D printers. Because the larger gearing, or the larger gears, should mean more consistent engagement with the filament and smoother feeding, I think. I think that will affect it. I'm not 100% sure, but I have a feeling that it will help a lot with very, very fine details. Because I know a lot of people, you're extruding plastic out of basically a geared system on printed parts. The filament's not perfect. There's so many different things that can affect the perfectly, straight walls of a print. I don't think we'll ever get perfectly flat walls, but I think this will help a lot in terms of those very minor deficiencies you see a lot. The light speed, if you watched my video on my channel, I took the LGX part. Okay, once we get a print up, once we get this moving, I'll see if I can pull up a video, your video or pictures or whatever of this taken apart. Because I want to go over a few things that I like with it. I just didn't want to take it apart on stream. So I'm going to try and do a video on this. So the trick is you do all the content in regards to, performance and testing, and then you take it apart after. So that way, if you break it taking it apart, you still have all the content. I tried to do that on the H2, but it didn't work from the beginning. So, okay. So we have it installed. And as you can see, it pretty much is the same form factor as the clockwork. So now we put the stock parts back on. So we have our fan shroud here. As I drop all my screws. Okay. Now, the Bowden tube is a little bit longer, but the actual gearing is higher. So it is an ever so slightly longer feed path from the gears to the hot end itself. I think I measured it. It's only like 10 millimeters. So it's like a 10 millimeter longer feed path, roughly. I just kind of eyeballed the Bowden tube and cut it. So it is an ever so slightly longer feed path, but it's perfectly straight and it's fully encapsulated in a Bowden tube. So I really don't think you're going to see too much, if any, of a difference. Do I know the gear ratio? Jean, this guy is still running old Clipper, so it's in steps per millimeter, and it's like roughly, I think they recommend you start at 400 millimeters per step, or 400 steps per millimeter, and then however that is in Clipper speak. Okay, get in your hole. There we go. Bernard, $24.99. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for all your helpful content. Thank you for enjoying the content. So, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to the main cam here and spin this around so I can actually do some cable management. I gotta put the thing on, hook everything back up. So, just give me a moment. Oh, one kind of downside thing, it's not really a downside. Let's see if I can get it on this camera. Ooh, rotate, pivot. It uses the little, like, clip-on, not quite JST connector. So I had to go ahead and make a little connector cable thing here to make it work. It's not a deal breaker, but that's just that it's not the wires directly into the motor type of stepper motor. So I guess it's kind of good because it's easier to replace something if you damage it, but you may need an adapter. Connect all your wires back up. Now, one thing that isn't complete yet, I don't think the little screw on the fan shroud will actually work on this. So I might not have a fan shroud on this. Or, correction, cable cover shroud. So, no serial number for me today. Yeah, there's no screw there to screw that in. Oh well. In that case, we will rely on our old friend, the zip tie. What is the weight difference? The LGX is, I think, like 40 grams heavier. So it is heavier. There's really no way to get around that, unfortunately. It is what it is. But 40 grams isn't quite really a deal breaker, in my opinion. Trying to figure out how I can zip tie this in so it doesn't fly off by accident, because there's really, unfortunately, I don't have any positive stop for this. I don't have that front screw, because this cable shroud is not designed for this, but I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay. If it falls off, I'll catch it. No biggie. Put a piece of tape on it if it comes to it. Okay, that's it. It's installed. It's really that simple. Like, give this guy some power. But yeah, when I said it's a relatively simple, straightforward swap, I wasn't kidding. We're 35 minutes into the stream. It's already installed. Like, it's a very, very straightforward swap on this guy. How heavy is it? V226 here is the 250 millimeter cubed V2.4. That guy's about 40 pounds. And this guy is 330 by 330 by about 400. So this guy's heavier. There shouldn't be sparks. It's all been hooked up before. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. Let's print something. Now, I don't actually have a slicer profile on this computer for this guy, I don't think. So let me find one. Because what we are going to do no, did I send it all the way to the top? Yeah, I did. Okay. Motor's off. We're going to swap out this nozzle to something bigger. So let's see what I got here. Because right now I got a 0.6 in it. And this uses the same, these use like V6 standard nozzles. So I think the actual biggest I have is a 0.8 on hand. So let me go digging through my China Special drawer. 0.6. 0.8. You know what? I got 0.8 China Specials. And I have a drill. So let's drill out a nozzle. I want to see how good this works at pushing a heck of a lot of plastic. Let's see here. No tunes. Oh, did I turn the music off? Sorry, guys. Wait, where did the music go? There's the music. I have a drill. Yeah. Right now I'm just trying to do import config. Oh, Duff, $6.99. Thank you, appreciate it. No tunes. Yep, I fixed that. Okay, let's see if I can find. Oh, nope, that's not it. That's not it. There we go. Okay, so let's drill out a nozzle. I've never done this before. I got a cheapo 0.8 millimeter China Special, and I've got two drill bits here. I've got a 1.08 mil and what is this? A 1.18, so 1.2 millimeter. So I've never drilled out a nozzle before. I'm assuming it's not too hard. I don't even know if I won't even hold it. I don't even know if I can do this. Let me go see. I think I have something for this. I got a hand drill. So we're going to drill this out. While I'm doing this, I need to print something. So, what I'm thinking is, oh wow, that goes right through. Okay. This actually is not taking as long as I thought. Anyone have any suggestions what I should print? So what I'm going to recommend for you guys to do is because Thangs is being awesome and sponsoring the stream tonight. We're gonna go on thangs.com and find something big to print. Ooh, Joe, thank you for becoming a member. So now we have a 1.2 millimeter nozzle. Heck yeah. Do I have a hard stone? I should have a hard stone. I do have a hard stone. Now you really should be, I should be doing this in a jig or something to make sure it's super flat, but YOLO. This is super janky. This is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be fun. I've never done this. I have never done this. And honestly, the only reason I'm doing this is there's two ways of testing flow rate, right? You can either print really fast and hope that the hot end can keep up, or you don't print really fast, but you print with a really big nozzle. And I've always done the print fast, and today we're going to try just the big nozzle. Take the 0.6 out, put the 1.2 in. Now the hot end we are using today is a Fadis Dragon High Flow. So we should be okay to push up to about 40 millimeters a second. Print a 300 millimeter benchy. Need my own avatar. If somebody with actual art skills wants to give a go at it and like make something, I'm all for it. Like I am not artistically inclined, so I really can't do it on my own. So tomorrow's Pi Day. That is right. Tomorrow is Pi Day. So let's see here. Let's start getting this warmed up. Let's get the printer warmed up. Oh, and by the way, Tallboy was built when? When did we build this guy? Back in September? In terms of how with the times Tallboy is, yeah, we're still running Octoprint on this guy. It's still running good old-fashioned Octoprint. I haven't put Clipper, or I haven't put any of the modern stuff on it. It's still running old Octoprint. Because since I do print big things on here, I do use it for the time lapses. So I do want to keep Octolapse on it, so this is why this guy still runs Octoprint. All my other printers are running Fluid or Mainsail or RepRap firmware in the one. So just print without a nozzle. Don't give me ideas. One of my degrees is an art degree. The thing with art, though, there's all kinds of art. You could be a sculptor, 3D modeler. There's all kinds of art. You know what? I think we're gonna go with this. We're gonna do a vase mode print. Let's see how far into a full 380 millimeter tall vase mode we can do with this guy. So actually, I need this one, right? I think I would need that one. Yeah. Wait, no, not that. Close. Cancel. Okay. So, hi Godzilla, we don't need you no more. So we're going to scale that. Let's go to 375. Now, where is vase mode. So layer height. So if we got a 1.2 millimeter nozzle, we should be using like what, 0.8 layers? Oh yeah, nozzle diameter. I gotta tell it we got a nozzle diameter. 1.2 millimeters. Retraction. I think it's 0.5 is what we use on this default, so we should be okay there. Oh, this is tall boy. This is a 330 by 330 by about 400-ish. I can't go to max though because the this guy, it's got this little lever on top. So depending on your setup and whatnot, you might not be able to go as high. So let's see here. So infill, we don't need no infill. Where is vase mode in here? I've never had to do vase mode in a Prusa slicer. Yes, 100%. Turn everything to 100%. Yes. I don't like how it defaults to use in nozzle diameter for a lot of these values. Just because it's easier to go percentage because you don't know, right? Layer, perimeter, spiral vase. Okay. Yeah, don't build a tall boy as tall as tall boy. Okay, so where is it? Layers and perimeters? Oh, spiral vase. There you go. 1 perimeter, no solid top layer, 0% density infill, no. Okay, so there we go there. So we'll just go with 3 bottom layers. There we go there. Speeds. So 80. Let's see how close we're pushing it on flow rate. Oh, we're actually... We should be okay, actually. Yeah, our flow rate. Oh, wait, it's probably, how fast were we going? Speed. Yeah, 22 millimeters a second. That ain't fast. We gotta go faster, faster. Faster. First layer speed, that's fine, that's fine. Accelerations are fine. Max print speed's fine. So where are we getting this 20 from? Why are you going 20? Where's the 20 from? Overlap. Max layer height for a 1.2 millimeter nozzle is 0.96. I think we'll go with the 0.8 just for a nice round number. Increase the flow rate. Oh, cooling. Yep, good point. Cooling. Cooling. Fan speed 100. Max 100. No slowing down. Must increase your max layer height and printer settings extruder. Oh, there we go. 1.0. There we go. Turn off auto cooling altogether. There we go. Slice down. Yeah, it's still not showing us going that fast. What the heck? Cooling. Extruder settings, max layer height. Yeah, I did do that. Max layer height is set to 1 millimeter. Yes, whatever. Except for APS. Not a big deal. Filament advanced flow rate. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we are pushing, what, about 26 on the flow rate? How fast are we going? Thank you, Lightspeed. So speed, we are sitting, we're about 40. Okay, so let's bump these speeds up. I don't want to go too fast. We'll go 60 millimeters a second. Actually, let's try 80. Let's go 80. Slice now. Volumetric flow rate. There we go, green. So we're around 40. Yeah, so that's about as much as we can push. And that's about an hour and a half to print that. So let me send that to the printer. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so I need bed mesh calibrate. That's what I forgot. Okay. Okay, export G code, save, save. And upload. So we're gonna need some colors. Red, green, actually let's go with the funky multicolor, I think. Yeah, let's so I have green, or I could do TPU. You know what? Let's really test it. Let's see how it handles 1.2 millimeter TPU. I have set the E steps, and I don't need to tighten the nozzle when heated. It's a it seals on copper. It's a bimetallic heat break, so it's the same as the Mosquito. You don't have to heat tighten. I haven't heat tightened a nozzle in like 2 years, and I have set the E steps. Oh, this is going to be so interesting. So, for tensioning, it's click adjustment. So, you have open, and then I think you have 4 or 5 clicks of adjustment. When I was testing, I was going with 2 clicks, and that seemed to feed PLA fine. We'll find out. And it's a Voron, so with the Voron, you don't have to adjust your, it's a V2, I don't need to worry about nozzle offset. Oh, wait. Cancel. Bed mesh calibrate. That's not what I want it to run. Bed level. Oops. Brandon, $9.99. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's quad gantry level. I don't know why I put the should be quad gantry level in the G code for this. So let me fix that. Bend mesh calibrate is for the that is for the switch wire, which I've been using the switch wire a lot lately. Which slicer is best slicer? Whatever slicer gives you the decent results that you want for your printer. I mean, for the longest time I ran Cura. The only reason I switched to Bruce's slicer is I wanted to try something new, and honestly my functional parts are still perfectly functional, like in terms of prints that come off the bed. Just go with whatever slicer you like. Okay, delete that. Upload a proper one. Okay, let's try this again. Bruce's slicer ain't bad, honestly. Like, every slicer has its own little quirks and whatnot. Just don't be one of those people that use like the slicer that came with your printer. So if you bought like an Ender 3 or an ANET or any like off-the-shelf printer and you're using whatever pirated version of Cura from like Cura 15.3 or what, like I'm trying to remember what came with my Monoprice Select Mini back in the day. Don't go use that old stuff. You go download a modern slicer. Oh, I forgot to put the sock back on it. Oh well. I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm sure we'll be fine. It's already oozing everywhere. It's a 1.2 millimeter nozzle. This is going to be so interesting. So while it's doing the gantry tramming, why not take the time, go over to Thangs.com. They're sponsoring the stream tonight. Create an account, upload some things, download some things. It's a great website for sharing and uploading and downloading 3D models, not just for 3D printing. They got a great viewer built into the site. It's constantly growing. Things are being added. I've been in chats with them. They are looking to add a bunch of new features. They recently did an AMA on Reddit, took a lot of feedback. So they are looking to add a bunch of stuff to the site, including things like communities. So you may not have to constantly go to GitHub for certain things in the future. But I foresee good things coming from Thangs. So why not hit them up? Let's get you guys a close-up view here. And let me find some better lighting. Grab that. Where is my power brick? Oh, did I lose it? Oh, there it is. Some more light. So it does look we are having some jamming. Why aren't you feeding properly? So it fed that fine, and now we're running into some issues. So let me cancel the print. See what kind of issue we had there. So, control. Because I printed that part fine. So let's see here. Oh, I hit home again. Shoot. So let's get that nice and warm. Yeah, it might have been too tight. 2 clicks might have been too tight. Or I might have had it on 3 clicks, I'm not too sure. So let me heat that back up. Control, extrude 50 millimeters. Looks like we got a jam. Ooh, we got a jam. the sock on really quick. We got a jam. Might have more issues here. So let me see here. Motor's off. So what's going on, bad boy, here? Control. Actually, I need to get it up higher. Pull the nozzle. I'm wondering if it's an issue with the nozzle itself. Yeah, that's way too fast for TPU. We're gonna go with PLA. Okay, pull a hot nozzle. Yep. So that is too hot. Printer's off. See if we can fix this quick. See what our issue was. I think that's what our issue was. Gummed up real quickly. Should have gone with PLA. Oh well. Trying to test out how well it feeds filament fast and flexibles. Not a good idea, probably. At least at the same time, but... Oh yeah. Okay, unhook that. Pop that off. Unhook. Resistor. Oh yeah, I gummed it right up. Gummed it right up. Okay, no TPU. Oh well. We'll try TPU at some reasonable speeds. I'll try that during the week. Problem is, I didn't want to yank it out and then get TPU stuck inside of a brand new geared extruder and then I'd have to rip the whole thing apart, which I kind of wanted to avoid doing. So, oh well. And yes, it is hot. Oop. Put the sock back on. Okay. That goes back in there. What's the nozzle took? Oh, the nozzle. Okay. Honestly, this is the question I get the million times. Go on Thingiverse, search torque wrench. This will come up. Every single video I have that torque wrench in. Somebody asked me what it is. But go to Thingiverse, search torque wrench. It's like the second or third response. Okay. Mr. Back up. Hook our heater back up. There we go. There we go, good enough. Okay. Back on. Good to go. Do silk PLA. Yeah, I'll do the silk PLA. There we go. 2 clicks. There we go. Okay, that goes there, that goes there. Oop. Ooh, I got a wire loose. I got a wire loose. Thermal runaway. Thermal runaway. What came loose? What came loose? Try it again. Is the LGX a different gear ratio? It is. Let me pull it up here. Do they? I wonder if they list LGX. No, I just put it on their website. So we got the LGX. Sold out. It doesn't say where the gear ratio is. It's 400 steps per millimeter. So let me heat the bed back up and we're good to go. It's 400 steps per millimeter. Whatever that works out to in gearing. So it's like what, 4:1, I believe? $800 at 32-bit, 400 at 8-bit. That doesn't make sense. It's in the brochure. Yeah, it says the steps in the brochure, but I didn't think it said the ratio. Uh-oh. I misplaced the brochure. Uh-oh. I'll find it later. It's somewhere. Oh, okay, micro stepping, that makes sense. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's engaged, and print. So right now we are giving it a shot with PLA instead of TPU. I will test it with TPU. Not right now, obviously. So let it heat back up. And we'll let her do its thing. Any experience with a sliced vanadium nozzle? I haven't used it personally. I know some people have and they swear by it. I have some Simax 3D hardened nozzles here I'm going to play with when I go to print the CF nylon stuff in the future. But for now, I have not had a chance to play with them yet. So. It's one of the things I love about these printers is you don't really have to do any recalibration. Like I just ripped off the whole hot end assembly. I could have swapped out the whole thing and we're already back up and printing. I haven't had to re-level the bed or anything. I love it. And have I printed carbon fiber? Not yet. I've got, let's see, I've got some, this is glass filled, Ultra PA, yeah, I got glass filled nylon. I've got carbon fiber nylon. I've got more carbon fiber nylon and carbon fiber polycarbonate to play with. So Toasty Boy is gonna have plenty of food. Aaron, hello. Yeah, okay, so how many Vorons do you have now? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Vorons, a Bonsai, and an Ender 3. I'm in the process of building Voron number, it'll be Voron number 5, printer number 7. That will be Toasty Boy. And that's a V1.8. Find a sponsor for a roll of Peak. Honestly, I don't have a printer that could do that. Like, I'm gonna have to play around, or not play around. I'm gonna have to put some do a nozzle swap on V226 there. But what printer is my most used? Okay, so in terms of raw use, it's V226. It's a 250 millimeter spec V2. I've had, like, I built that way back in 2018. That was my original V2. Toasty Boy, or Tall Boy here, is what was the frame of my very first Voron, which was a V1. But that has the most hours on it. It's been a V2, a V2.1, a 2.2, and now it's a 2.4, including beta revisions of all those parts. It's probably got 15,000 of print time on, 15,000 print hours on it in like 3 years almost. In terms of recently though, I've been using the switch wire a lot for PLA stuff because Toasty Boy, or I keep calling all their names mixed up, V226 is fully closed. It pretty much just does ABS. And then Tall Boy here does a mixture of both ABS and PLA. But this one, I keep a 0.6 millimeter nozzle in it. So this is for my big stuff usually. So. Yeah. If I could do a difference between CF brands. Okay, here's the thing with like doing like comparison. I wish I had the time for that. Unfortunately, like, you know, the channel is growing much more than I ever thought it would. And things are going much better than I ever thought it would. But this is still part-time hobby for me, right? So I really don't have the time to do full-on in-depth testing of all the different like filaments, like build charts and test rigs and all that. That's why I started streaming, because it's a lot easier for me to do streams once a week instead of having to do dedicated videos, which I still try to make the dedicated videos. But I don't think I'd be able to go fully in depth for that, especially comparing all the different brands. Because one, I live in Canada, so I can't even get a lot of stuff up here. When will you have the Toasty Boy? I need to see. As soon as stuff starts showing up, I'm going to start building it. Obviously, the big thing is the frame. I'm waiting for that to show up, and once that shows up, we can start building it. As it is right now, all I have for Toasty Boy is some bearings, the linear rods for the Z, and the power supply stuff. I think I have more like components for the CNC I'm designing, which I do have rails for it now. The carriages are somewhere. They're waiting to get a ultrasonic bath. So it is quiet, I will say. Building a 2.4, should I put a Bondtech on it? Okay, so here's the thing. This is all still pretty fresh. Remember that. This is like the first time this is printing. I think like 1 or 2 other guys on the Voron Discord have these set up, and there is literally like this many hours total of print time probably on it. So far, it's working. It's working. But in terms of, will I say, you know, don't bother getting the BMG stuff, just buy one of these right now? I can't really say yet. For all we know, the performance is the same. I'm hoping it's better, but we'll see. The first layer offset's probably a little weird. It's okay. Like, okay. I've seen worse first layers. I'm sure my nozzle offset is not perfectly tuned for a drilled out 1.2 millimeter nozzle. Why is it stuttering? It's not stuttering. Oh, that's the webcam. Unlock that. Unlock. Yeah, that's the webcam. Because it ain't stuttering. What do we got? 25 mil? Yeah, that's the webcam. So let's see here. Lightspeed said he did a video taking this apart. So let's do what all streamers do and do a react video, guys. So here, we're gonna react to, this is Lightspeed taking apart his LGX. So yeah, it's got a spur gear on it. Now I'm curious if this is the same gear as the Orbiter style. However, this is a NEMA 17. So you got that. Sorry, I'm going to skip through your video here. He takes it apart. I'm trying to get to the internals. I want to see the internals on this guy. Yeah. So these are the feed gears, okay? Jesse, $15. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just want to say thank you for all the videos you've done. Managed to build and get my 2.4 up. Awesome. Up and running last week. Thanks to you and the community. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the printer. So you can see the tensioning arm there, but see those big gears? That's what I'm most excited for, honestly. Those big, chonky boy gears. That's the magic sauce of this thing. So yeah. So this is why, And yes, we're going to be using MS Paint here, okay? This is why I like these big chunky gears, okay? So, you ready for some arts and crafts? This is our filament, okay? So there's our filament. Now, on a traditional extruder, okay, you have that, okay? Now, when it's pushing against the filament, it's curved. It conforms a little bit to the shape of the filament. But in terms of engagement, you're getting that much engagement on the gear, okay? Now, on a proper extruder, you're going to have 2 of them. So 1 on each side. So you're getting that much engagement. Now, on the LGX, the gears are bigger. Okay? And yes, we are doing this with MS Paint. So that means you're going to have more surface area in contact with the filament on both sides. So it's dual drive, which is awesome. And then you have more surface area of contact, okay? Which is even more awesome. So what that means is you should have less issues with slipping and chewing of filament, especially with flexibles and softer plastics. And you should have more consistent feed, as the distance between each full tooth engaging with the filament and driving it should be more consistent. So instead of like, think of it as one hand pushing something along a desk in one big motion as it comes in and out, versus a bunch of little hands gently pushing along in sequence, if that makes any sense. So I think that will make it a better extruder, just from looking at the design. So less tear out. Yep, that's a good way of putting it, 3D printing llama. Dual tractor drive. Tractor strong. Is the bonsai a one-off? No, the bonsai, you can find the design for it on, let me pull it up here. But it is a design. Like, I did not design the bonsai. I haven't designed a 3D printer. But this is the bonsai. So, this is it. It's basically a scaled down Mark III, like Prusa style printer. Voron belt printer? No. Will there be noticeable quality improvements? Well, here's the thing, KW Wang. Maybe, maybe not. Not 100% sure. It really depends on what you're printing, what settings you're printing at. I think it would be more of a consistency and reliability increase versus a straight up, your prints are going to look, oh my God, so much better performance thing. Among the Horizon, can any Voron printer do non-planar? If Clipper supports it, technically you should be able to do it on pretty much any of them. The thing is, the tool heads aren't really designed for it, because that was never really a thing when they were designed. So. Josh Townsend, first Voron today. Nice, congrats. I just built my first V0. You built the full V0 one day? You madman. Yeah, the first layer ain't looking too hot, but again, drilled out nozzle, and this thing wasn't set up for that. Yeah, there should be plenty of torque. Like when I was testing it yesterday, just feeding filament through by hand, well, not by hand, but I was like feeding filament to check my E-steps, and I was holding on to the PLA as it was being pulled in, and it was sucking it in no problem. Like, and right now I am running the motor at 0.5 amps, which is what we set the stock clockwork motor for. It can go up to 1 amp apparently, but I left it set at 0.5 amps, and it's not hot at all, so should be okay there. If I need to bump it up, I'll bump it up. Esom Blue? Maybe. I think I still have a spool of it somewhere. Mellow Cells 1 millimeter ID. I don't really do, like, I don't print with the fat nozzle that much. I use the 0.6 on this guy often just because it's, I use this for like when I got to print components that are just big, like skirts or like motor mounts and whatnot. So that's what this machine is usually for. So the 0.6 is okay there. Occasionally I throw in the 0.8 for a model, but I won't really need a 0.1 or a 1 for anything dedicated. And I got a drill. Yeah, the ESUM blue is this stuff. Which you can't find anywhere apparently right now, but I like this blue. Penguin, €2. Thank you, appreciate it. That did not show up in chat. I don't know why that didn't show up in chat. But what do I think of the SKR Pro? I have one. It's gonna go in Toasty Boy. Once it's up and functional, I'll let you know. But yeah. Okay, it is not keeping up there. That is too much. That is too much. Where's my feed rate control? It is not liking that. Drop the feed rate. Yeah, I can't keep up with that. Cancel. Yeah, it can't keep up with that. Oh well. I don't know why those are popping up. Are those E2? Did you do that, or is chat just bugged out and I'm not seeing chat? Okay, so Streamlabs is borking up, it looks like. Yep, we got a fail. So it can't obviously keep up with that. So let's take a look here and see what the problem was. Wow, that is thick. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna drop the speeds. That is obviously too fast. So let's go to 30 millimeters a second for our speeds. And then what I will do, the flow rate is around 50, but I'm thinking because it's such a thick nozzle, it wasn't able to melt the filament properly. Okay, why is the super... Okay, I'm turning off the alerts. They seem to be bugged a little bit. Yeah, Penguin shows up now. Okay, so I turned the alerts off. Alerts are borking up. Okay. What size nozzle? It's a 1.2. Okay, so I dropped the... Let's try this again. What I did was I dropped the speeds back down to like 30 millimeters a second. And what we'll do is we'll ramp up speeds if it's okay with that. But that's the first layer. One layer thick. As you can see, it started to kind of go to poop. I wasn't able to melt it. But one layer, that's solid. Okay, I don't know why alerts are all screwed up. Why are the alerts all screwed up? Are you guys seeing all the alerts too? Turn off alerts. There we go. Something's screwed up with the alerts. I don't know what's causing that. Congrats on the Stefan shout out. Yeah, Stefan's video, put it this way, I've been getting a lot of subscribers today. Yeah, you see all the alerts. Yeah, it's something sporky there. So we're gonna try it again. Filament tolerance will probably be one of the last things in terms of that. Yeah, the alert sounds are annoying. How the heck do I have alerts off? Desktop audio. I don't think it's desktop audio because I turned it off. Why is Streamlabs bugging out? Dashboard. Okay, 1 second here. Go back on. Test donation. Okay. So that's there. So let me. I think. Nope. Oh wow, that's way off. Cancel. Oh, there's probably filament all on the nozzle too. That probably threw off the trying to fix alerts. Okay, let's try this again. I hope you like spaghetti. Okay, why is Streamlabs being bonkers here? Stop it. Streamlabs, stop it. Stop it. Okay, disabled alerts. Okay, alerts are disabled. Why are you still popping up? There we go. Okay, I think we're okay there. Okay, I think I fixed it. There we go. That was annoying. Sorry about that, guys. I have become a member of my own channel. Yes, I'm always here. Oh my god, we got 389 viewers. How the heck is that? Okay, I have no idea. But hello. Dan, I was just checking. Streamlabs was bugging out and decided to constantly refresh it. I had to clear the cache, apparently. That's what was causing the issue. But it should be okay now. So. We're at 418. Wow. A bunch of people probably left when the print failed. But oh well. It is what it is. Right now, I'm having 210 at the nozzle. I know people aren't liking the smash button. I don't know what's up with that. It is what it is. I don't have a clipper screen on hand, Cupcake. So unfortunately, I can't really do a tutorial on it because I don't have one. I've been keeping my eye out. I might grab one in the future, but we'll see. It's pillowing now. It honestly doesn't look that bad. I really don't care. I don't have the add-on to do baby steps on this printer. Well, I don't have any cooling. The part fan's off. Like, this ain't spinning. And I did bump it up. Yeah, so right now it should be doing a flat 30 millimeters a second after this. And then what I'll do is I'll just bump it up percentage-wise until we start having issues with flow. But I think we'll be okay. Get a better angle camera. Sure is working just fine though. I also like on this one how you have access on the side of it. So you got the feed gears there. So you can actually clean them if they get all gummy. So. Oh yeah, I can do that. I should bump it up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. Like, it's sticking good enough to the bed. It's a first layer on a vase mode print. I'm not super concerned about it warping off the bed. I do need to put a better fluid or mainsail on this thing though. Every now and then I boot it up and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, it's still running Octoprint. What year is this? Bondtech LGX. Yeah, it is pretty much out of stock everywhere I can find it. Available on back order. Oh, wait. Oh, where'd that go? Where'd that go? Haha. Oh, you guys are in luck. It's one of those can situations. It's in stock up here in Canada on Digimakers. Okay, add them all to the cart and commence the scalping. How many can I add? Add them all. 99. There we go. Oh. Oh, okay, I'm gonna add them all to the cart. Aw. Wait, are they actually in stock? Okay, they are in stock. And they're actually, that's not bad. If they're, how much are they in the States? They're like 100 or 80? They're not Pokemon. Shh. Yeah, because you just need the base model. So yeah, so it's actually, honestly, their price ain't that bad. If it's 99 US, that is not bad, honestly. We are not getting screwed over on the price once you factor in exchange rate. So, for the Canadians up here, if you want an LGX, they're actually not unreasonably priced, it looks like. Which is that's one of those, that's a goddamn miracle. That is, you don't see that often. They're out of stock on Bondtech. Plus, I have one. Although, I don't know how long I can put it onto this. The person that lent this to me is probably going to want it back at some point. So, I'm going to play around with it, do the video on it, and then I'm probably going to have to put it back in its little box and send it back. Because this is a loaner. It's not mine. Do I have a pic of the insides? Let me see if I can find a picture. Bondtech LGX teardown. I know somebody took one apart on the Discord. I can't remember who. But if you go on YouTube, there's a video. Lightspeed took one apart. How long before the Chinese clones? I don't know. I think the Chinese clones are starting to kind of, I won't say die off, but I think they're kind of realizing some of them can do their own thing. Like Phaetus and the Dragon, and then, what is it? Like the Dragonfly, like, I got this guy right here. This will be in a video in a little bit, but that's a Phaetus Dragonfly High Flow. Like, it looks like a volcano, but the internals are pretty much all different and proprietary. But I think they're kind of starting to do their own thing over there. Like, obviously they are going to copy stuff because that's what they do. But I think you're going to start seeing more new things out of them, or at least their own things. So. Like, there's no Chimera clones. At least there's the Matrix, but I don't think that's a full-on Chimera clone. Let me take a look here. Unless it is. I can't remember. Yeah, there's the Matrix, which is pretty much a Chimera clone, actually. It's just different enough that it's not quite, but close enough. Well, they got the BIQ, the BQ, which is actually apparently pronounced BQ, H2, which I have right here, with all the other, stuff you need to mount it to stuff. It is definitely not a Chimera clone. The H2 is its own thing. It's got some issues. They're sending me a replacement that should work, so we'll see. Might have to do a third part on it. Well, mine didn't work and they're sending me a replacement, so I'll let you know how it functions once it's up. Because I can't really comment on it working if I don't have a working one. So. Would I buy the BQ over this? No. At least the model of BQ I had. Plus, this is drop-in in a Voron. The BQ requires its own ecosystem. Yeah, Elite Machine Works. That's pretty much it. It's a lot of build design-wise. It isn't horrible. It's build quality that's the issue. None of your business. So the problem is though, is you don't need to be super light anymore. Modern printers with built out of modern materials and modern firmwares, 100 grams is nothing really. Like I've pushed this style of setup with a direct feed DEMA 17 extruder 400 millimeters a second at 20 kXL. It handles it fine. So is the Hemera a good upgrade for going from Bowden to direct drive? If they said they fixed the Hemera, maybe. All I know is the first generation of them had a lot of quality issues with gears cracking and supply issues, because they don't make them in England. They make them all in China. E3D makes all their stuff there. Like, but anyways, I don't like the form factor. I personally am not a huge fan of the all-in-one solution, because you're kind of limited in upgrades down the line, and two, you have to use it the way they intend, like in terms of a form factor. I prefer having the extruder mounted above the hot end in a way that you can move the hot end back. Like if you were to mount the direct feed setups and a setup like this, it takes up more room on the X or the Y. I'd rather it take up room in the Z, because it's easier to design around that. And you don't lose print volume. Because if you put a Hemera on here, or the LGX in the direct feed setup, or the H2, you are going to lose X or Y room. There's no getting around it. When I put an Afterburner on the Ender 3 V2, I have an M4 on it. My Ender 3 is for trying out different things. If I put another Afterburner on it, it'd be like the other 3 printers I have that have Afterburners on it. So right now we're running at 220. We're about to go to the second layer. Ooh, the V7. One day that will come out. The V7, I got a feeling, like personal opinion, I think the V7 will be great if it had come out probably 3 years ago. That's my opinion of what will probably be the reaction to the V7 when it comes out, is this would have been great if it came out 3 or 4 years ago. Because the V6 has been around for way too long. Like, it's way past its lifespan. I don't know why it's still like... You got Slice came out with the Mosquito, and then you have the Dragons and the Dragonfly and other hot ends that are bimetallic heat breaks, and that's like the hot stuff. So if the V7 is just a V6 with a bimetallic heat break and rigid mounting of the heater block so it doesn't rotate, and the heat break is no longer structural, that'll be great if it came out 3 years ago, because now it's just like all the other modern hot ends. So the V7 can be good if it's... That is honestly, if the Dragon was the Dragon should have been what the V7 was. Because I like the Slice Mosquito. The problem is the Slice Mosquito is a very high price point for what it is. I like the hot end. I run it in V2 26. My workhorse V2 runs a Slice Mosquito because it's stupid reliable and it works really good. The problem is it's hard to justify its price point. And then you have the Copperhead, which... it's still pricey, and it loses all the advantages that the Mosquito has with its non-structural heat break and one-handed nozzle changes and all that. Plus, I don't like the mounting on it. I like the being able to top-down mount it. So it's kind of like the Dragon has all the good stuff and it's cheap. So yeah. I got nothing against Prusa. I got nothing against Prusa. I like the Prusa Mini. Prusa is great for people that have a little bit of money and want something that just works out of the box, and is great for entry-level printing. Like, if you're a school or you're semi-serious about printing and you want something that's just reliable out of the box that has support behind it, there's nothing wrong with the Prusa, especially the Mini. The Mini sells like hotcakes, and it's a nice little reliable, relatively cheap machine. Like, yeah. They just need to, you know, drop the 8-bit boards and put Clipper on them or something. It's going to be really interesting when the Prusa XL comes out. That I'm going to be very interested to see. I have no idea what they're going for in that. Because they've been developing the Prusa XL for how many years? And a bunch of guys in garden sheds put out 5 Vorons in a year. Tinnitus, 32-bit Prusa Mark III. Rip out the controller board, throw an SKR in it, flash Clipper. There you go. Timothy, Clipper isn't as hard to get into as it used to be, especially with the dedicated interfaces for it. It's a lot more streamlined to get into Clipper. And yes, there is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's like compiling Marlin from scratch for the first time. Once you know it type of thing. Oh, in terms of the V0 build, John, follow the manual. Please follow the manual and have the CAD open just to reference, because you want to make sure you're using the right extrusions in the right locations. You're inserting the right amount of M3 nuts before putting the frame together. You just have to make sure you follow everything by step, or you're going to work yourself into a corner and have to take it apart. Prusa XL is a 2.4 with an 8-bit board. Oh God. The very first V2s were 8-bit Marlin, and they maxed out at 100 millimeters a second because we bogged them down. Caribou switched to Duet. Yeah, that makes sense. I like the Duet. I got a Duet in V226. It's just I like Clipper on Duets. I like the hardware of the Duet. Don't get me wrong. The Duets are a great board. They're beefy. A lot of times you don't really need it. Like a Duet 3 is absolute overkill on a 3D printer. There's really no reason to run a Duet 3 on a 3D printer. It's absolutely overkill. Unless your printer decides to run NEMA 23 motors. For tool changing. Well, here's the thing. Clipper supports tool changing, and with Clipper, you can just keep plugging SKRs or ramps or any other board into the Raspberry Pi that's supported. So you can add, you know, with the cheapo SKR, what is it, 1.4, 1.3, you can have 4 of those plugged into a Raspberry Pi, or you can even get the, what is it, the Fly or no, which one is it? There's a fly board that has like 9 steppers on it. You can plug 4 of those into a Raspberry Pi and control them all at once with Clipper. So that gives you what, 9, 18, 36 steppers to mess around with if you want. Yeah, the Fly 9. Would you prefer Clipper over RepRap 3? I like Clipper. All my machines run Clipper except for the one machine that runs RepRap firmware, because I'm testing the controller board, which runs RepRap firmware. But the controller board is Clipper compatible, so it probably will be Clipperized at some point. Alexander, thank you for becoming a member. Run a NEMA 23 on the Duet for the extruder. Okay, that's a... What the heck are you extruding? Yeah, I have a Duet 2 and V226. It's a Physek Duet clone. The thing is, you have to remember, the Prusa Mark III is just an i3 style, Cartesian style printer, right? It's a bed flinger. And it's not running anything super intensive in terms of firmware capabilities. So you're not doing input shaping on it. You're not hooking an accelerometer onto it and giving a live readout of the harmonics of the printer, because you can do all that with Clipper. but what nozzle size am I using? I'm using a 1.2 millimeter nozzle that I drilled out. Victor, 10. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Great job. When point 1 comes out, can't wait. When it's done, the whole thing is going to be kind of released as a package. So it's kind of a all at once type thing. It won't be like certain things are close to being done, certain things aren't, but it'll all be as one when it's released. So. I have the donations enabled. Why aren't you popping up? Test donation. Okay, that worked. Okay, now it doesn't want to work. Shoot. Copy. Alerts. Properties. Okay. If it don't work, it don't work. A MIG extruder. If anyone ever looks inside a MIG gun, that's pretty much what a hot end extruder is, pretty much. I drilled from the back. But yeah, another thing with Prusa, if you take a look at their 32-bit board on the Prusa, the Mini, it is very locked down too. Like you have to basically void the firmware in order to flash your own firmware on it. So if you wanted to run Clipper on it, you have to void the warranty on it. And then also, it's very Spartan. Like they don't even have end stops on it, so you have to rely on sensorless homing for your XY homing. You can't have a micro switch. They don't even have hookups for it. So it's very closed gated. I'd rather see more options on the board because that allows you to do other things that you want to add to the board if you want. So, none of your business. Thank you for becoming a member. Now they're working. Yeah, the buddy board. But yeah, in terms of, okay, so belted printers, it comes up all the time. Honestly, you could do it on this one easy because the bed is completely separate from all the motion. So you could literally just have a bed here that just rolls out once the print's done. You wouldn't be able to do the continuous prints, but I'm not a huge fan of the massive continuous prints because there's issues with printing on a 45. But if I had the infinite money and a print farm and I had to do that, get a KUKA arm, or any of the robotic arms. Go like raid an old Ford factory for an old welding bot arm. And then what you do is you get a bunch of Voron V2s or V1s, or really any printer with a flex plate, okay? And you have the robot in the middle, and you have your printers arranged in stacks around the arm. And you have the arm hooked up, and they're all in software doing magic in the cloud. And when the print is done, the arm goes up, grabs the print bed off, puts it on a rack, grabs an empty flex plate, throws it on. Next print. That's how I would do it. I'm not a huge fan of the belted design because the belts, I don't know how they're going to last in the long term. Kind of like an old tape library. Well, it's common in CNCs. Palette changer. Like in CNC machines, especially in like CNC machines that do lights out operations, palette changers are super common. Let's take a look here. See if I can find a video of it. Brandon, thank you for coming a member. Let's see if this is the video. Trying to find the video because we had one at my shop. But yeah, it was basically what I described there, where it would just rotate around. George, $4.99. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for teaching Vor and stuff. Thank you for watching the videos and enjoying them. 3D printing and painting. Hello. Yeah, I can't find the video of the palette changer that I wanted. Oh well. Oh yeah, and the pressure advanced values are way off right now, just so you know. But that's kind of to be expected because again, we literally just threw a 1.2 millimeter drilled out nozzle on this thing. Then I'm trying to test out max flow on it to see how it handles when you just, you know, feed it a lot of plastic fast. And if you want to watch the filament spool go. Any recommendations for building a 1.1 or a 1.8? Go for it. I'm going to be building one soon. Josh, $2. Thank you. Appreciate it. Stoked my first Vor on a V0 is working. Awesome. That's great to hear, man. Video posted shows a delta moving. Yep, I've seen that video. It does like the arrangement of the food. Is there a purpose? No, Joe. It's I probably forgot to change it. That is exactly it. The purpose is I forgot to drop it down. And at this point, we're sunk cost and there's no point in stopping and restarting. Yeah, 3 layers. This is like a 2 millimeter base. Palette changer like a Mitsubishi. Yeah, we had one on one of the OKKs at our shop. .9 may have a Fly S6. Well, it would be a 6-stepper board. Take that as you will. Like I'm using a GTR or not a GTR. Where did I put it? Is that it? No, that's not it. Where did I put it? No, that is the power supplies for Toasty Boy. Huh. I gotta find where I put my SKR Pro. But I have an SKR Pro, 1.2 Pro. I've been working on a side project and testing something new for the past little while. So my room's kind of a mess right now. Because there's stuff I have to hide before stream. Stuff that would blow your minds, but I can't share it. So yeah, this is the... This is the board I'll be putting in Toasty Boy. It's an SKR 1.2 Pro, or Pro 1.2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steppers, all the bells and whistles. Separate voltage in for the motors. So if you want to feed your stepper motors 36 volts, you can go ahead and do that with this board. 2 USB ports. I don't know why it has a USB A, but it does, or USB B, but it does. Yeah, all the bells and whistles. Big old ARM STM, what is it? STM32F407. 3 CNC fans, 3 CNC or 3 heaters, which you can use the heaters as a CNC fan. So you can run, you know, 5 controlled fans plus your heater, bed, all the bells and whistles. So this is what's going to be in Toasty Boy, because I need to run 5 stepper motors, and then one of these is going to be, for those that don't know, this guy, which is a PT100 stick that plugs into here. So it allows you to hook a PT100 temperature probe into your motor driver, and it interfaces with the board that way, so you don't need a separate board. So actually, I'm going to put this stuff in here so I don't lose it. Yep, Danetis, so what it is, it's a step stick, right? Because in Clipper, you can reassign pins easily, right? So let me pull it up here, and I'll show you what it is. Because Ray made it. And then you can buy them from him, I believe. And then also there's a company on Alley that makes the board too. Tony Labs, I think. Yeah, this is it. So this looks like a stepper step stick, but it's not. Why are my AirPods dying so quickly lately? But anyways, so your PT100 plugs into the motor port, and then your step stick is reassigned as a PT100 basically. Oh, that is stuttering like crazy. Why is it not wanting to do vase mode? I'm thinking it has something to do with the pressure advance or something. Okay, let's see here. Let me turn on the noise canceling. There we go. Yeah, bump the temperatures up, drop the feed rate a bit. And I gotta bump the flow rate up. That might be okay. Why we test stuff? Because honestly, right now, I don't care how the print looks. I just wanted to hammer on the extruder to see how it, yeah, I left the amperage at 0.5. Like, the motor is warm, so it should be okay. What size nozzle? 1.2 millimeters. Yeah, it's a lot of overhang. So I dropped the feed rate 80%. Or to 80%, and I bumped the flow rate up to 120. And we are printing at 230. Let me go to 235. I hand drilled it. I 1.2 millimeter and I hand drilled it. And what I did was I actually drilled it to one size lower than this and then drilled it to this. And the nozzle was already a 0.8 millimeter nozzle, so a minimal stock removal. And there is a thing called drill reaming. So if you have to drill a precise hole and all you have is drills, which aren't precise, you really want to use a reamer to get a precise hole. So what you do is you drill it to a smaller size and then you drill it to your final size. So you only remove a minimal amount of stock with your final size. It helps get a cleaner hole. Okay, I don't know why these are dying so quick on me now. But it is what it is. So the annoying headphones. Oh. Well, there's a problem. We ran into a firmware issue. Noise reduction is going crazy. Let me turn it off. Because we're not printing right now. Oh well. Oh well. It is what it is. Ugh. That was actually coming along pretty good. So I don't think we really have time. Man, that is some thick layers. So what is that? That is something in Clipper. Maximum extrusion. So let me adjust my max extrusion. Max extrude cross section, right? So that was... Yep, F's in chat. .2 max extrude cross section. Yeah. Yeah. So let's take a look here. So file save. Yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, like, again, we didn't know this would happen. So, Clipper, firmware, restart firmware. And what we're going to do is let's print with a brim, print settings, no bottom layers. Slice now. Export G-code, base. Okay, so we're ready. Let me upload. And we're gonna try it again. So what I've done is I'm not gonna have a bottom layer. It's just gonna be walls, but it's gonna be a brim. Hopefully that's enough. And we are going to give it another whirl. So we'll see. So the issue that came up was move exceed extrusion. So in Clipper, it does some math to try and prevent over extrusion, which can, you know, cause issues. So because I thought I still had a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, and the way the settings were, it was a little conservative. So it was basically trying to go faster than it thought it could, or at least that's what I told it to. So it errored out. So it wasn't a PID thing. So I've gone ahead and basically told it, hey, I have a fat nozzle now, and you can go a lot faster than you think you can. So we're gonna let it do its thing again, and hopefully it works. So. And I'm only doing these fat nozzles for tonight. After tonight, like, I'm gonna put a regular nozzle in this and print something normal and do proper testing and whatnot. We're just doing the big fat nozzle with big thick layers tonight because it's the live stream and we're having fun. No, I turned off bottom layers. So what it's gonna do now is print with just a brim, and that's it. So what I've gone ahead is, it's just brims. So it's just brim right into the fancy print. So we'll see. See how it goes. Let me bump my temperatures back up. It's just sucking that filament down. Gotta turn that back on. R3D, oh, okay. R3D, Project R3D, $100, thank you, appreciate it. Here's some money, buy your printer something nice. I am doing that, man, I am doing that. And CNCs, remember, I'm gonna have to drop the P off the channel name at some point because it's just gonna be 3D stuff. But thank you, appreciate it. If you guys are looking for an awesome off-the-shelf beast of a printer, because the if the Prusa is the wimpy and you want the hefty, go grab a Daedalus. That is a beast of a machine, and it comes fully built in a box. A wooden box, if I'm not mistaken. So that's some quality box. It's also a really nice printer. Joel has one. He's done videos on it. It's a good printer. Yep. CNC. I'm hoping... So, I know this is for the Euro crowd who are probably sleeping right now and are going to be watching the VOD. But the plan is I do have a 3018 on the way. That should actually be here, I'm hoping, this week. So when that shows up, I actually plan on doing a daytime stream. One day during the week, probably around 1:30 or 2 p.m. Eastern, because that's really when I have time before I go into work and my kids at daycare. So I'm going to try and do a daytime stream of building that thing. Plus it's a CNC. So right now it is 10:30 at night, and I really can't be milling stuff in the basement. My son would probably not appreciate it too much because he would be napping. So, When that shows up, that will be a daytime stream. No, Project R3D is not Ray's 3D. R3D is R3D. But they are awesome. Okay, actually, you guys probably want to see this. So let me, because all the fans are going to kick on in a minute here, let me put the noise canceling back on. So I'm thinking right now, at least on my end, I think the extruder is louder than it really should be. And I think that has to do with the pressure advance not being tuned for a 1.2 millimeter nozzle. So the pressure advance is causing it to bounce all over the place. I honestly should probably turn pressure advance off. Where's my mouse? Where is my pressure advance? Do I have pressure advance on? I should have pressure advance. Yeah. Yeah, I should turn pressure advance off. Terminal. So what would it be? It would be extruder. Pressure advance 0. I can't remember what the actual G code to turn off pressure advance is, but it's in there. There we go. Had to bump up the flow. Copy. Go terminal. Zero. Yeah, it's saying I don't know command. Not a big deal. Remember, we're just testing this guy out. We're just seeing how well it pushes a ton of filament quickly, which it seems to be doing pretty okay. You should just see the spool spinning. What is the better half think of all the 3D printer stuff I'm doing? She's fine with it. It's all in the basement. It's all out of sight, out of mind. And it's in my off hours when everyone's asleep, so it's not impacting anything. How fast is the spool moving? Let's see if we can get it all in one shot. Did I get the B2 hot end working? No, I did not. I'm waiting on a replacement. They're sending me a replacement. This is why I can't go faster, because this is literally going fast. Because those lines are thick. Let's see if I can bump the speed up a bit. So right now I'm actually running my flow percent at 125. So let's bump up the feed back up to 100. And let's see. The layer height is 0.8 millimeters and it's a 1.2 millimeter nozzle. Okay, so 100% feed is too much. So I gotta, so 30 millimeters a second is too fast. I gotta drop it down to 80% of that. Das Boot, honestly, so far, this, it's functioning just fine. I'm having no issues with the hot end, or the extruder itself. The only issues we've had tonight is from the fact that we literally took a nozzle, drilled a 1.2 millimeter hole in it, and tried to shove too much filament through it too fast. But the extruder was handling it just fine. So it was a hot end issue on our high flow hot end. But that was the point of tonight, was just to get it on the machine and just see how it handles when you just throw stuff at it. Because I was hoping to just print something big, but due to issues, we didn't get that done tonight. But since when does a stream go according to plan? So yeah, it's functioning fine. Tomorrow I'll throw a regular size nozzle on it and do some actual print testing, different materials and whatnot. Do a TPU print, do some ABS, PLA, whatnot, and just make sure everything's working good, and then I'll do a standalone video on it. But considering it is drop-in compatible with the Afterburner, I'm kind of not liking the fact that I'm going to have to give this back at some point. That's where my stance is at right now. Will it be on the bomb? Well, the mounts for this will be pushed to the GitHub at some point. I think Nemgri was saying even like tomorrow. So yeah, which is best? Giovanni, I can't make that call yet. Like, we haven't finished one print with it yet. And it is at the moment, $100 option, whereas you can build one of these with, you know, Triangle Labs gears and whatnot for a third the price, roughly. So is it 2/3 better? I don't know yet, but for a drop-in solution, that's pretty dang good so far. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not a fan of flex drive systems. We kind of ran into that with the jetpack. For those that don't know, back in the pre-2.4, Vorons were all Bowden. There was no direct feed tool head because we were all like, oh, putting that weight on the tool head is going to be too much of a downside. We're going to run into issues. We want to go fast. And then somebody slapped a BMG on it and realized, hey, this actually isn't much of a downside, because once you factor in the fact that you're going from like a 5mm retract to a 0.5mm retract, you're saving a little bit of time there. And even though you have to slow down your accelerations a bit, you're not really losing that much time, and your quality bump is much better because it's a lot easier to tune a direct feed extruder. So we toyed with the idea of taking the extruder and actually mounting it to the rail. So it would sit behind the rail. So you'd have a short filament pass. So it was kind of like not a full Bowden setup, but not a direct feed setup, because the moving mass, we figured. But then we realized that there's no point making a middle ground. You either go all one way or all the other. I think the Zesty and all those other flex drive setups are kind of in the same boat, where they're in the middle, so they're not the best of either option, and they have the worst aspects of either option. So I guess on deltas they make a lot more sense, but on something like this, not really, in my opinion. Jetpack was still cool. I ran jetpacks on my switch wire before I switched them to M4s. Why don't they have filament runout sensors to the spool reel? Because you can't. You'd have to have the software would have to be able to read the G code and understand when a travel move is or when, like, what the feed rate is. Because if the filament stops moving, well, the filament can stop moving for many number of reasons. Plus, a lot of runout sensors are based on just, is there filament there or not how fast is the filament moving. So you need to have something basically rolling on the gear or on the filament, causing motion that can be detected. That, and then also with Clipper, the way Clipper works, G-code is queued. So you can't just suddenly interject something like a stop command. Like e-stop's different. E-stop's the e-stop, it works. But with Clipper, if you have a switch that for like a filament runout, you need to actually have it quite a ways back from your extruder, because the way Clipper works with batching of G-code, because it has to send it to the MCU on the controller board, it sends it in batches. So a stop command would have to be sent after the current batch is finished. So you would have to have your filament runout sensor like somewhere over here by the spool and not in the tool head, or you're going to run into an issue where it runs out, it goes, hey, stop, and by the time the signal gets to the MCU, it's too late. Is there a problem with SLA parts? Yes, it has to do with the resins. A lot of resins will not work well as a printed part in a printer due to the fact that with temperature changes and whatnot, you're going to have cracking issues. And also, even like the ABS-like resins we've tested, you can't even put heat set inserts into them. They just can't be melted into it. It's not a property of the material. So there is some testing that's been done, and there's basically, we can't find any reason to recommend it. Pretty much what Raymond said. Bad idea. What's the gear ratio? I'm not sure of the exact gear ratio, but it's 400 steps per millimeter. And it is geared, so you should have no problem feeding any filament, especially with the larger gears. It should grip it just fine. I'm not worried about gear ratio on this thing. I don't think it'll be an issue at all. Does Clipper log last command after a fault? I think so. You can pull it up in the Clippy log. Not 100% sure. Am I part of the Voron design team? I guess there's not really a, well, I don't know. There's a group, and I'm on the group. Put it that way. What plastic would be your choice to CNC parts for Voron? If you're gonna CNC plastic parts, make them out of Delrin. That's what I would recommend, I guess. Print's looking good. Yeah, there's some gaps in it, but near the bottom when we were playing with the speeds and feeds, but chooching along pretty good. I think we're gonna let it run for a bit. Might let the stream run a little bit longer. But I am going to get a drink. So while I go out to get some libations, want to give a shout out to Thangs, the sponsor of the stream tonight. I always screw up this part. Wait, okay, this hand up, there, down, this hand down, rotate that way. Okay, these guys, they're sponsoring the stream tonight. They got an awesome website, a growing community of sharing 3D models, not just for 3D printers, but all kinds of 3D models. They have all kinds of model viewers built into it, so you can upload assembly files for your completed model, and you can do exploded view of things. So while I'm out getting a drink, why not take a chance or take your time, go to thangs.com. There's links in the description. If you want to print this nifty little Godzilla that I ran off the machine yesterday on my switch wire, there's a link in the description for that. Go give it a like, create an account, share some things, download some things. It's a great place. I will be back in a jiffy. Okay, I'm back. Charles, $5. Thank you, appreciate it. First time catching a thing live. Awesome. So unfortunately, the wifey is going to bed, and because the wifey was going to bed, little guy was, well, not the little guy, but the big guy, he was being all mopey out by the front door and wouldn't move. So no doggo tonight, unfortunately. Triano, thank you for becoming a member. So, I've returned with Gibson's finest. No doggo. Doggo is being all mopey by the stairs because my wife's going to bed right now. And he wants to go be mopey and not move. So, when she goes to bed, he might come down. But, he's very set in his ways, that dog. Duff69, thank you, appreciate it. Mama Boy Doggo, he is Mama Boy Doggo. Doggo was here before me, so, Mama Boy Doggo. Oh, I gotta turn the alerts back on. There we go. So, drink of choice tonight, we have Gibson's Finest, Canadian whiskey. So we are letting the print do its thing for a bit, and I think tonight's going to be, because it's a pretty good night, we're just going to let the stream go until somebody gets bored. Alberta Premium there you go, Duff. I am realizing though, with my little goal of actually printing something every week, I'm gonna run out of space on my shelf real soon. What's the drink? It's whiskey. And along with the whiskey, it's whiskey. You need to ship me some bourbon. I can get down with that. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I had bourbon. I'm a Scotch and whiskey guy. I'm bored, stream's over. Not yet, Raymond. Crown Royal. Crown Royal's good. Max, holy hell. Hey man, I got the whiskey out. We're the print's going. We had a few technical difficulties, but it's what happens when you take a nozzle, drill it to 1.2 millimeters, and try to shove too much plastic through it too quick. But I think we got it worked out, and the print is printing successfully. Speed it up. Fish FPV. This is about as fast as we can go. It literally cannot melt the plastic fast enough, or consistently enough at this nozzle size at this speed. Like I gotta get a video of this. Any updates on the CNC design? Let me load up Fusion. There's not much because I'm waiting on stuff to come in. Let me see if I can get a good video of this. So right now I am waiting on stuff to come in for Project Avro. So I am waiting on stuff to come in for Project Avro. So I can verify some dimensioning before I finalize the design and order more of it. So as it is right now, it's not quite on hold. I'm waiting on stuff to come in. And then there's stuff going on for the 3018, which I will be modifying, because the 3018, for those that don't know, is a very cheap CNC. So, hey, Fusion decided to finally open. If the stream suddenly crashes, I'm sorry. That's Fusion doing Fusion stuff. So I apologize in advance if the stream does crash. So this is what I have on the way. It's a 3018. Banggood is sending to me for testing and evaluation and to play around. So it's called a 3018 because it's 300 by 180 millimeters. It's a very basic CNC. That spindle is pretty much a vacuum motor, probably. Pretty weak NEMA 17s, and it's running Gerbil. God, I wish Clipper ran CNCs, so I'm gonna have to deal with Gerbil. Bakelite and aluminum extrusion frame rods. So the plan is to see what I can kind of do with it to bootstrap it into something usable. And by usable, I mean able to cut light aluminum. Let me load up Avro here. Why not the 4030? Because Banggood wouldn't send me that. They would only send me what they have on their website. And I tried to get a more expensive one and they wouldn't. I don't have that much cred. So this is currently Project Avro in its current state. It's grown a little bit just to fit some things better. But NEMA 23s, 1204 for X and Z, and 1605 for the Y ball screws. Bed moves, fixed gantry, aluminum plates, 500 watt spindle, which I already got. So right now, the only thing I have in is the spindle, the Z motor, and these two rails. So we're gonna be waiting a little bit. But as for the 3018, this is the current plan for the 3018. Is basically, I'm not sure I'm going to do with the Y-axis yet. It's probably going to be stock for a bit. But the plan is to replace the 2020 extrusions with 2040, MGN 12 rails, and then use 2040 again to make a new Z assembly and X carriage. And then the motors are going to get beefed out to the 84 ounce NEMA 17s that I got. And then the spindle, I just have the same 500 watt spindle spec'd into it for now, but we'll see. So this is early stages. I'd like to at least get the machine to a point where it can actually do stuff. A lot of people compare the 3018 to like the Ender 3 of CNCs. It's more like a first gen ANET A8 without runaway protection. So yeah. Motor drivers. For the 3018, it comes with 84988s. I think I'm just gonna throw DRVs in there because Stronk, but we'll see. None of your business. So it is running at 30 millimeters a second, running at 80% speed, I think, because we're having issues at 100%. So it's like 25 millimeters a second. 1.2 millimeter nozzle, and it is a Dragon high flow. Oh, for Avro, I'm not sure yet. I'll probably, like right now I have a TD660 just to test with the one motor I have, but I haven't figured that out yet. Electronics are like down the line for me. I want to figure out the mechanicals of it first. Yes, Max and his DRV Soviet tractors. The crazy madman who ran a V2 with DRVs up until like he clipperized it like a year ago or something like that. Any updates on 0.1 when it's done? Yeah, EDM machine. Oh. Uh-oh. 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 Hey, Coda. Come here. Oh, don't go boy. Kisses. Kisses. What? Oh. Aw. That's scritches. You're bugging you, buddy. All done? Okay. Goodbye. Are you not entertained? Yes, Doggo. Raymond, $5. Thank you, appreciate it. Doggo, yes, Doggo. Let me catch up. Yeah, EDM. EDM usually stinks. It depends on the EDM oil you're using. Like, we have EDM machines at work. They use the green dielectric oil. It's not too bad. I'd rather smell EDM oil than rancid coolant, put it that way. Duff $6.99. Doggo indeed. Yes, Doggo. Good boy. Yeah, you just need something like EDM. So I know how an EDM machine works. We have them at work. Like, you're basically using high voltage and some sort of negative. Usually we use graphite because you can machine graphite to super fine details. And we use them to burn things like ribs or super fine detail things into injection molds. But you need some sort of medium in between, and we use EDM oil, which is like this. It literally looks like green Gatorade. It looks absolutely delicious, but I'm sure it would not be good to drink. So what I'm going to do, I recorded a video of it laying down the bead of plastic, and I'm going to upload it to my Twitter. So at 3DP Nero, hit me up. There we go. I can't upload a picture and a video. Okay, whatever. Good enough. Tweet. Okay, so I tweeted out a video of this laying it down because it's a C920. You can't get that good of a quality. Adrian and Scott, thanks for following me. So I'll reply to that tweet with a picture. There we go. Yes, social. All the hey guys, ring the bell, smash the like button, or like the smash button. I always screw up my own screw up of it. Ring the bell, subscribe, share, tweet about it, post it on Instagram. I don't know. Hit me up on that MySpace. My ICQ number is as follows. You know how it is. All that algorithm stuff. Gotta feed the beast. MySpace. My BBS is as follows. I seem to know a lot about mechanical engineering, machining. What's your background? I am a tool maker. My trade is I am a mold maker by trade. So I build plastic injection molds. I don't design them. I'm just a guy on the floor who puts them together and fixes them and takes them apart. But I've been involved with the Boron Design Group for like, not even a group, it's like a group of people on. We have a fancy channel on the Twitter or on the Discord. But long story short, I've just kind of picked up enough errant knowledge over the years. So, like when it comes to CNC, I know diddly. I'm a manual machinist. I can run a Bridgeport and a lathe just fine all day, manually. But when it comes to a CNC, my CNC knowledge is 3D printers. That's pretty much all I know about CNC. So. This is actually printing pretty dang good. So I really want to find out. I keep adding Bondtech on all my tweets about this thing because I really want to know how the heck this lines up. I really want to know why the heck this lines up so perfectly. Okay, why is this? What is going on with Streamlabs here? I don't know why it keeps doing that. So I really want to know why this fits so dang well in the Afterburner, because it is some straight voodoo that this drops in no problem. There's something going on there, I believe. I really want to know, or if it is literally just a coincidence. So if anyone from Bondtech is watching this video, please let me know. I am legit curious. I don't think they copied it. They can't copy anything. Like, the location of the feed path is not anything to copy. Like, to be fair, the clockwork is literally just the guts of a BMG in a different plastic housing, just so it lines up and fits in the Afterburner toolhead. So, I just find it super coincidental that this lines up with the Afterburner feed path of filament. So I don't know if it's just a literal stars aligned coincidence that it lines up on the X and Y axis just fine, or if they kind of just said, hey, let's do this, and then all the Voron guys will buy it and we'll make money. I really don't care. I think it's honestly, it's working out dang good, and it's a drop-in package with a full warranty. That is something good. So we'll see. I just really am curious about it. Voron is planning the takeover. Voron would have to be a company before something like that happened. It's literally just a bunch of guys in a Discord channel. I can't get over how thick this 3-layer bottom plate is. None of your business. To my knowledge, the Daedalus is just running RepRap firmware on a Duet, which for a commercial printer makes more sense in my opinion. Clipper is still a little experimental for a consumer product, if you put it that way. That's what I would say in that regard. Voron would be a problem for Prusa if we all were a company. More changes in the last. We pushed out 5 printers in a year. Updates to all the current models in the legacy. So V0, V1.8, V2.4, Switchwire, and Legacy all came out last year for a bunch of guys in guarded sheds. And how long has Prusa been working on the XL? So. Exactly, Lightspeed. Like, Daedalus is, for consumer product, RepRap firmware on a Duet makes a lot more sense, honestly. XL win. Well, that's the thing, too. You got to remember, this is a bunch of guys. So there's like, I think we're coming up on, let me check the Discord here. Let me see here. How many Vorons are serialed? So as of right now, that's how many Vorons are serialed. So there is over almost 1,100 V2s serial. Now, if you were conservative on the price of a V2 at around 1,500 US, that is a massive market. Everyone's making money on Voron, Sector Voron team, because nobody wants to deal with setting up a company, having to buy all the product, inventory the product, manage the product, keep a float of product. It is, anytime somebody asks why isn't Voron a company, how well is PrinterBot doing right now? For a North American based startup of 3D printers. That's why I wish our Daedalus all the best. And apparently he's doing pretty good. They're selling, so good on him. Because that was one thing I was worried about, is trying to make that market. I think that prosumer level, there is a niche there that can be filled. And it looks like the Daedalus is kind of fitting in there pretty well. But remember, most people only care about cheap. Like, people complain about the price of a Voron all the time. It makes, put it this way, when it makes sense, it works out better when it's typed in Discord, but a Voron is not 2 money signs for 1 money sign. It is 3 money signs for 2 money signs. It's not meant to be a cheap printer. So trying to make it a consumer product would cost even more, and then you have to make profit on top of that, and then it's just not worth it. Triangle Labs and CNA and all those LDO can make the money and deal with the hassle of having to distribute all this stuff. I'm gonna run out of camera soon. Keep moving this up. Oh yeah, Derek, having a full supply chain, like right now, you can't buy Masumi 2020 extrusions. They are flat out non-existent. Like, it just is what it is. Pro Design HT, does the Voron team make money off the project? Not really. The guys who do print it forward basically at most make beer money. Once you factor in hourly wage, like if you were to compare it to like an hourly wage, it's massively below minimum wage in terms of time spent. There's affiliate links in the sourcing guide. Those basically get funneled back into development. So like there's no profit in Voron. Like those that make any amount of money pretty much pour it right back in. It's like me with my YouTube channel. Through the Patreon, YouTube memberships and whatnot, yes, I am bringing in money, but that's literally going right back into ordering stuff for the channel or for projects. Like I've got 30 Alley orders on the way right now between V1, the 3018 build, and the CNC Avro build. So nobody's making any money because the money isn't staying in it. Any money coming in is not staying in anyone's hands long. Need those blue clips you have on the extrusions holding the wires for the B motor. Oh, those are from... Those are the drag, or the tape chain mounts. Go look in the 2.1 GitHub. The V2.1 GitHub, I think they're in there. Can you do a member berry stream? I want to do a members only stream with if RCF wants to come on stream, he's all welcome to. One day we will. When I run out of content, the weekend when I don't have anything to fiddle with on a 3D printer, I'll bug Max and say like, hey, you want to do an interview? What's V24 build area? It's 24 by 24 by 24 American inches. Love to see the whole team. Okay, here's the thing. The Voron team is a lot bigger than you think. It's more of a think tank at this point. Like the Voron team is like comparable to a think tank at this point. BizNet, thank you for becoming a member. Where's Toasty Boy? How's it going? As of right now, Toasty Boy is a bunch of packages in the mail. It's coming in. Waiting on stuff to show up. I gotta find out from LDO when the frame's gonna show up. Jason, if you're watching. Oh, I won't do any interviews tonight. Maybe next week or the week after, or maybe during the week or something. I gotta work something out. I don't know if it would be a live stream or if it would be like a one-on-one edited thing. We'll figure something out. The next Voron Live is when I don't know when. I'm not involved with the Voron Lives, so that's not my show. How much we don't really sell. A lot of money spent on things that never worked out. Hey, Rui, apparently I'm on your big TV. These layers are thick. Like, thick. Yeah, the Voron kits were something Max put together back in the day to get it kind of started. So there's like, I think, what, 10 or 20 kits were made and sold? And to be fair, those are like the only commercial Vorons in existence, I think. Were those kits, if you don't count V24. I wish I had a Haas to make linear rails. You don't need a Haas to make linear rails. You need a grinder because these are hardened and then ground. Biggest obstacle when building a Voron? Depends on which one. Like the switch wire is like joke simple to put together. The V0 follow the dang manual, and the V2s and the V1s aren't relatively hard anymore. It's all fully documented. When it comes to designing though, ask RCF. You should see some of the prototype and designs that never made it to fruition. Yeah, exactly, Mandela there. You do need, like, their ground. Like, so you machine the rails to oversized size, you drill all the holes, you cut the grooves in it, and then you harden them, and then you grind them to final dimension. Maker Beam's going to be on that. Yeah. So CJ, in regards to his video there with the CF nylon, I have some CF nylon. I was planning to print Toasty Boy in CF nylon. I think what I'm going to do is I maybe this week print a test jig with some of the CF nylon I have, and basically do a creep test on it. So basically mimic like a bed mount where you have the spring and a screw through it and some washers. Print it, and then what I'll do is I'll leave it inside of like V226 and do a bunch of heat cycles and see how it handles the temperature change and if there's any creep issues. And if I do, I probably won't use CF nylon. But I also have CF polycarbonate, which would be great if not for the fact that any polycarbonate, when exposed to greases and oils, it deteriorates the PC and you'll have issues like cracking. So it might be okay with like the motor mounts for the Z, the X, or not the XY joints, like anywhere where there's no grease or oil exposure, it'd be okay. But anywhere where there's bearings pressed into it, or attached to the linear rails with the carriages, you kind of want to avoid PC. I also have glass filled nylon, so that will be interesting. But the glass filled was sent by Fadis to test out their high flow Dragonfly, because this has a full hardened nozzle in it. So could you clear coat it? Maybe, but the problem is that would throw dimensioning off. Yes, Toasty Boy is not a high temp printer. It is a V2 built to spec, but insulated to all hell to make it more efficient at printing materials that enjoy higher temperatures. Yeah, the camera's getting low. It is literally like, let me see here. Put that there, that there. I'm running out of camera. Ugh. There we go. Yeah, and Toasty Boy is going to have a dedicated hardened nozzle in it. I'm going to run the Galileo extruder in it. I would like to run one of these in it right now, but I only have the one and I got to send it back. but it's gonna run the Galileo. It's basically gonna be a dedicated printer for the fancy stuff. So I don't have to swap out nozzles. I'm gonna try and make a Garolite flex plate for it too. We'll see. But basically it's just supposed to be a dedicated printer for fancy stuff. Because here's the thing, we've done testing. Eddie the engineer has done quite a bit of it. If you enclose a 250 millimeter spec V2 well, and by enclose it well, I mean insulate it properly, close all the gaps, go with actual insulation around the outside, you can get like 70 degrees Celsius ambient temperatures just from the bed heater. You don't need to go and add an additional heater. Is the 2.4 your favorite boron? At the moment, yes. Switch wire is a close second. Because the switch wire is just so simple and it's great for PLA. That's what I use my switch wire for, is dual extrusion and PLA. And it just, no problem with it. Shooting for 130C chamber temps. Dang, son. That's hot. Where does the V0 place? I can't make a chart because it's different use case. Like my V0 is my backup, and if I need to take a printer somewhere to show somebody a 3D printer, that's my V0. My V2s, this guy is pretty much for only when I want to print big things. That's what Tallboy's for. V226 is my mass production of ABS stuff printer. Switchwire is my PLA printer. The Ender 3 is for testing non-Voron printer stuff. Bonsai was, hey, I have a bunch of spare parts, let's build a printer out of it. So the plan for insulating Toasty Boy is it's gonna have ACM panels instead of the acrylic panels. Even the front's gonna be ACM with only a little window cut out for an acrylic window. And then it's gonna have insulation on the outside, the Reflectex stuff, I believe. So, but like Toasty Boy or Tall Boy here is actually horribly insulated. It only has coroplast and there's gaps everywhere. So this guy is actually not the greatest when it comes to tall ABS prints. Like it printed, like this King Kong here is ABS. I printed this guy with ABS, but I also did the Rancor. Let me find him here. Yeah. So I printed the Rancor in ABS too, but I had my fan just a little too high, and there's cracking everywhere on it. Like he cracked like mad. Like he's almost split right in half across his belly. And yeah. So. But this guy doesn't get the same chamber temperatures as V224 or V26. Yes, ACM is aluminum composite material. So it's basically thin aluminum, I think it's thin aluminum sheets with like a foam in the middle. So it's like 30-second thick aluminum and then foam in the middle. It's usually used in signage, I believe. Which Voron is a good first printer? It depends what you want to use your Voron for. If I knew what you want to use your Voron for, it'd be a lot easier. Or what you intend to use it. Yeah, what's the intended use case? Because they all have different use cases. I love ABS for standability. Yes, eSun ABS Plus is like, I have cases of it. That's my go-to. How is ACM with heat? It should be pretty good. It's aluminum. So, it should be pretty dang good for heat. What's a legacy used for? A legacy is basically a resto mod. So for those who are familiar with like classic cars, a resto mod is when you take like an old like 70s hot rod and you put things like modern air conditioning and a modern stereo in it. So you take an old car, but you add some modern creature comforts to it. The legacy is a throwback to the old V1s that had the linear rods for the X, Y, and Z motion. So it's basically like a Gucci old Voron. There's a certain aesthetic to that design that some people liked. So the legacy is kind of a way to kind of build a classic Voron that doesn't suffer from like the old classic Voron syndrome, like having a ramps board running 8-bit Marlin. So it's a modern take on the old design. Also, it's a direct upgrade for those that are running the old V1 series before switching to linear rails. So that's what the legacy is. Yeah, so the reason the chains are that bendy on Tallboy is I have silicone wire in here still. So what I actually have is like cable sleeving around the wires, and then that's stuffed in the drag chain just to keep it from rubbing. So because of that, the bend radius is quite large. So. Like, honestly, the legacy would probably be a really sweet build, but unfortunately, I have 6 printers. I'm building a 7th. I really only need like 2. So, and I have, you know, once Toasty Boy starts the build, and then I got the CNC stuff, I'm going to be busy for into the fall. So, hey, plenty of content. Gonna be a big vase. Who takes a bigger cut? Let me check. I think I get more. YouTube takes a bigger cut than Patreon, I believe. Yeah, YouTube takes a bigger cut. I don't know of the, I know donations, they take a certain percent. I don't know about the memberships. So I'm not 100% sure. I actually probably should look into that. Omar, in terms of like the V1 build series, the V1, the frame is a frame. Just make sure you build it square. The Z is relatively simple. There is a manual. And then for the gantry, just watch my build series on the V2 gantry, but watch the video upside down. Because the V2 and the V1 gantry on the current revisions of them, the 1.8 and the 2.4, it's pretty much the exact same gantry. It's just the V1 has the gantry upside down. That's pretty much it. Thanks, CJ. Do you use the orbiter extruder on any of your printers? If so, how do you like it? I don't have one yet, Eric. I think LDO is sending me one. I'm not 100% sure. But if I do get one, I'm going to throw it in the Ender 3 and give it a whirl. Oh, the wiring. The wiring is... I did the wiring on my V2. It's pretty much the same, only less stepper motors. Because the gantry wiring is pretty much the exact same. In fact, it is exactly the same for the whole gantry. It's just when you get to under the hood, which in the V1's case, it's easier because it's a backpack. You only have 2 Z motors instead of 4. And you only have 1 controller board, so it's actually easier. What's your thoughts on remote direct extruder? So if you're talking about like flex drive systems, I'm not a huge fan of them. I'd rather either go completely Bowden or completely direct feed. I don't think the middle ground is worth it. SLS parts for the Pocket Watch Orbiter. I think the SLS is worth it. I think. I haven't had one to check. Hey, Willie. Oh, what time is it? 11:30. Okay, so I am going to call a stream soon. It is getting a bit late here. So I am going to call a stream. We'll call it 10 minutes. We'll give it 10 more minutes. Or actually, 11:45 we're going to call it. So I don't have anything to clean up. So for the last like 15 minutes, open floor. If anyone has any questions or wants me to look at anything, go ahead. But as always, I'll take pictures of the print once it's done. I'll post it on the Facebooks or on the Facebook. I'll post it on the Twitters. So make sure you're following me at 3DP Nero. How fast did you get out of the Ender with Clipper on the 32-bit? So with the Ender, if you watch the stream where I put Clipper on it, I think we were pushing it at 300 or 400 millimeters a second and around 4 or 5 kXL. Right now it is running rep firmware though. So. Does anyone sell pre-built Vorons? To my knowledge, no. Vorons are not meant to be a commercial product. So the Voron team makes the designs, the manuals and what's not, puts them out there, and you got to build it on your own. Every now and then one does come up for sale in the flea market, but you're buying something that somebody else built. There's no guarantee of quality. But yeah, there is no off-the-shelf Voron. The only like off-the-shelf comparable printer, you're looking at like the R3D Daedalus, and other big size Core XYs, E3D Tool Changer, but that's not really, I wouldn't go for that. Have I tried any of the bimetallic heat breaks for a V6? No, I have not. I have not. The Vivendo Troodon is literally a weird bastardization of a V0 or V2.0 and a 2.1. It has lacking support and it runs Duet. Or it runs rep firmware on some weird custom board. I wouldn't call it a Voron. Is Afterburner okay for high-speed printing? Uno momento, por favor. Por favor. I don't know, I can't speak Spanish. Moi je parle français, pas Spanish. That's not what I want. E2. So what can be happening there is basically it could be noise. What I actually do is I usually run my probes with one sample per corner, because depending on your probe, the first one, if you notice the first number is always off compared to the rest of them, that might be causing it. So try running one probe per corner and see if that helps. It really depends on the probe. Thoughts on the DDX? I've never used the DDX, I think. Yeah, I would go with the LGX over the DDX, I think. Yeah, go with the LGX. So, can the Afterburner do high-speed printing? This is real time. Yeah, whiskey's not helping with the typos. Yeah. A well-built printer with proper rigidity and running a firmware like Clipper with input shaping and the ability to properly tune it should have no problem with a direct feed setup. So, yeah. It can do it. Cheers, Duff. I am running out of camera again. How fast does a switch wire go? You can push boron speeds on it. What I consider boron speeds is 180 or 120 infill, 90 outer layers, 90 inner layers, 60 outer layers. I usually run 40, 80, 100 for my quality prints. This is a 40, 80, 120, like a 40, 80, 100 print. So 40 outer walls, 80 inner walls, 100 for infill, and then 200 travel. Pretty good. Oh, and anywhere from 1600 to 3500 Excel. Same with, you know, the cube here. The cube here, this is actually flat out 120, I believe. Focus. Yeah. Well, Marlin and Clipper are two completely different firmwares, but I was able to push 400 millimeters a second at 5K Excel on an Ender 3, a bone stock Ender 3 V2, just by installing Clipper on it. So. When you go to a bigger nozzle, you need to make sure your extruder is capable of pushing that much filament reliably. Redo your PID tune. You know, the PID tune actually won't make too much of a difference. Redo your PID tune with a full nozzle or a full fan running. And recalibrate your pressure advance. You are definitely going to have to recalibrate your pressure advance. Is the Mosquito worth the price of the Dragon? Unfortunately, I don't think it is. The Mosquito is a very good hot end, and I like it. Unfortunately, with the price difference, I can't justify it. Like, my V226, as I said, runs a Mosquito. It's a dang good hot end. But a Dragon does everything the Mosquito does for a good fraction of the price. Have I had Z motors losing sync? No, because when you turn the printer on, yeah, they could be all wherever. But when you do your first homing, like gantry tram before a print, they're all independent there to do the tram, and then after that they lock into each other and they all move as one. So I've never encountered a print that has drifted. And I used to, on V226, when I ran RepRap firmware, I manually did my gantry tram on startup, and I would only rerun my gantry tram after a power down, because I would turn my motor current down to still hold when it was in idle mode. And I've gone like dozens of prints without having to retram my gantry on that. So nope, it's not been an issue. Now on power loss, yes, you have to redo it. But yeah, on longer prints, I've never seen anything that would indicate that they've shifted. If your motors were shifting, you would be susceptible to that in any direction, because it would be the same thing. If your motors are shifting, are literally your motors losing steps. So if you're having motors lose steps, that is your motors losing steps, and you have to do whatever you have to do when your motors lose steps to correct that issue. So right now I have a Fadus High Flow Dragon in this printer. It is using a random generic China brass nozzle that I drilled out to 1.2 millimeters. Got my Trogdor from Sparta 3D. Sparta 3D carries Trogdor? What Trogdor? Oh, Dragon. Wow. Took me a second there. Yes, if you're in Canada and you need printing stuff, go to Sparta 3D. I have a sticker from them. They are awesome. If you're in USA, hit up Printed Solid, David. If you need a printer bed, Fermio Labs. They're in Europe. They have good stuff too. I don't know, random shoutouts. If you have a company you want me to shout out, let me know. I'll shout it out. I don't care. Still waiting on that Raid Shadow Legends money. That would pay for like so many builds. Any tips for drilling out the nozzle? I literally just used a little hand drill. Used a smaller size drill than the drill I wanted to finish with. Drilled it out and then finished with the final drill. So, yes. I haven't used any of the Mandela beds though, so I can't comment on them, but apparently people like the V0 bed. So yes, get their V0 bed. Sure, go with that. There you go, he's still here. Gotta give that shout out. I have no problem shouting out companies that make good stuff. Like, the LDO 1.8 frames are starting to come into the country, I believe. Like they're a relatively recent addition to their lineup. So I think they're just waiting on shipments to arrive before they'll be listed, because that's what I'm waiting on. Yeah, there's a few okay vendors of stuff up here. Digimakers, Sparta 3D, what's the other one? Can't remember. There's a few 3D printer vendors up here in Canada. The problem is it's usually stuff's out of stock a lot, and they usually don't carry some of the more boutique stuff. Mid-March. Okay. Yeah, there's a massive Voron vendor list. Okay, so I think I'm going to call the stream there, guys. It's 11:45. It's late on a Saturday night. I'm going to go eat some more pizza because we have leftover pizza and I am hungry. I'm going to finish my drink. So the print, I'll let it finish because there's like another hour left on it. I'll take pictures of it, I'll post it on the Twitter. So follow me on Twitter at 3DPNero. I want to give another shout out to Thangs for sponsoring the stream tonight. Again, they are an awesome site, growing community there. So make sure you go to thangs.com, download some models. Hey, go get yourself one of these fancy bundled up Bernies. I have one of him. He's sitting on my shelf. So go to Thangs, create an account. They help out the channel. They help create the content that I create to entertain you guys and educate you guys. So tonight, again, to recap, we've put the Bondtech LGX in the Afterburner toolhead. A little bit of trial and error at first, but we got it running, we got it printing. It's doing the thing it's supposed to do, and it's doing it quite well. So I'll do some more testing on it over the coming week. Hopefully, I may not have a video on it this week, but hopefully next week at the minimum. It's an extruder. If it works, it works. And so far it's working. So yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed the stream tonight. I hope you're all entertained. Hope you learned something. Hope you had fun. So as always, safe out there. Wash your hands. Have a nice day. Cheers.